a text message to her. She did not respond. She responded later on in the evening by sending me a Zelle. Yes, she sent me a Zelle. She sent me my pay via Zelle. So I said, that don't make no sense right now, ma'am. I said, no, ma'am, that doesn't make any sense, because I can't understand how I'm supposed to be working for you if you're not paying me. If you don't pay me, I don't send you a resignation letter and you're not paying me, I don't understand how I'm supposed to continue working for you. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in to the ThinkNursing channel, where we discuss everything related to nursing, travel, and lifestyle. Today I'm going to talk to you regarding something that has been happening over the past few days. So as you're aware, I do house calls as a nurse practitioner, and I am enjoying every bit of it. But when you come on to the money part, you know, if you're not paying me, then I'm not going to be enjoying any of it. I still take care of my patients, you know, give them the best care. But when you come on to doing certain things, like extra things, so for the company, I'm not going to be doing it. All right. So that's the long and short of that. So I started working the second job as a nurse practitioner about a month ago. When I went in and meet with the manager or the owner of the company, everything was fine. You know, she was a sweetheart. She explained everything regarding the company, you know, the expectations, and just kind of outlined, you know, the system itself, the EMR that I'll be using. I was pretty interested in the EMR because the one that I currently use is a little bit, you know, not the best, but it's workable. And my manager is super nice, you know, very open for recommendations or open for discussion. So for both companies, I would give them, you know, like a 10 out of 10 when it comes on to like discussions and improving on the company in terms of different things that you suggest to them. So with the company in question, I started working about a month ago, and at that time, as I say, their EMR is perfect. I loved it. The only thing that was missing from their EMR was the fact that I wasn't able to verify when I'm ordering a narcotic or a controlled substance. And that is something that is very big for me, because especially with me being not really a new nurse practitioner, but I just started working as a nurse practitioner in under like a year. I want to ensure that I'm crossing my T's and dotting my I's on everything. So if the state law recommends that you use a prescriptive monitoring program and you do your checks before all of your orders, then I'm gonna, you know, do it. Because at the end of the day, I don't want it to be a case where they have their audits and my name comes up because I am not doing the proper checks. So that was the only thing that was concerning for me at the time. So I said to her that I'm not so sure what's happening, but I'm not able to see, you know, this as a part of the system. Apparently she wasn't aware. She has this company for 10 years, she says. She wasn't aware that that wasn't installed on the EMR, and so she was going to try and address it. On the day when I was supposed to be using that, you know, the EMR to see a patient and order some medication that requires me to verify the patient's, you know, history, I wasn't able to do so. So I did reach out to her, and I reached out to the company to find out, that's the EMR company, to find out if there's any way for me to actually get access to doing that, because I don't want to go ahead and order any medication without the proper, you know, verification. They sent over some information. I went ahead, sent my boss that information and tell her that this is what she needs to do on her part to get that part, you know, active on the EMR system so that other nurse practitioners can have access to it, because I don't know how they're verifying, but that's not my business. My business is the fact that I am not able to do it for my patients, and I want to ensure that I do it for all my patients whenever I am seeing their patients. So the process was going to take about 4 to 6 weeks. When I said that to her, she seemed a little bit, you know, not so happy about the fact that I wasn't going to get access to it, because I said to her I won't be able to do, you know, any orders when it comes on to that. like controlled substance and narcotics. So it turned out that I said to her, well, probably, if you can find somebody else who is able to do the orders, then that will be fine. I don't have a problem with it. Or probably I'm not the best suitable person for this, because as I say, I don't have that much experience as a nurse practitioner, and I don't know how the other nurse practitioners who are practicing are doing this thing. And if you can find somebody else who can actually navigate their way around doing this in a safe manner, protecting their own license, then I'm open to, step aside so you can actually have somebody that is going to be beneficial or more beneficial for your company. She says no, they can actually figure it out. She got some policies and she figured out a way to show me how to go ahead and get the PMP check or prescriptive monitoring program check on these patients and document it in a safe manner, because she has some policies there that she had to get from her medical doctor to say that this is how the nurse practitioners are doing it, or this is how the nurse practitioners are charting it, to say that they've checked it and everything is fine. So I went ahead and I'm fine with how she did that, because what I asked her is that I would love to get her documentation of the prescriptive monitoring program printed out or uploaded to the patient's chart, so that way when I'm actually ordering that narcotic, I can make reference to the prescriptive monitoring being checked by this person and it is a part of the patient's file, and then I can safely go ahead and say, all right, then I document it based off the information that has been retrieved from that person's PMP check as a hard copy, and then I will go ahead and order the medication. Deep down, yes, I wasn't 100% happy about the manner in which I was going to do it, but I was still like 95% okay with it. So I went ahead and started doing all of that, and it worked out fine for the first few. But then I realized I'm ordering narcotics and controlled substances for patients every day. I'm ordering probably like, say, 5 patients. I'm seeing 5 patients, and every patient is on a narcotic. There's no alternative that the patients are taking. Remember, at one point I said to her that I'm not ordering any patient, a specific patient, any medication, because when I looked at the patient's medical record, it's on a controlled substance for pain. She doesn't know why she's taking a controlled substance for pain every month through a pain management doctor, and the patient has multiple psych problems. She went to her psychiatrist, and it's a case where she didn't like the management that they were going to be doing, so she stopped going. And then the practice is going to order monthly medications for this patient without the patient appropriately being evaluated by a psychiatrist. And I said to her, I'm not comfortable with that. So there were certain things that I wasn't comfortable with during the time, or at the time when I started, that I made reference to her regarding, and I'm not so sure if probably I was just a little bit too outspoken regarding them. She kind of put a little question mark or asterisk beside my name and said, okay, then this young lady look like a problem. But I was just doing it in the best interest of myself and my license, as well as for the patient, because I know definitely that I cannot be ordering every month 90 or 100 tablets for narcotics every single month without checking a PMP on that patient. Or if the patient has osteoarthritis, I'm ordering tramadol every month. Like, at what point do we say, okay, then probably this patient needs to see a pain management specialist? Or if a patient has multiple underlying psych problem, at what point do we say this patient needs to get evaluated by a psychiatrist? I cannot see that patient and monitor that patient like every single month for their psych problem and just be ordering medication constantly and not having the proper evaluation done on that patient. Like, deep down, I'm not comfortable doing that. So I spoke with her regarding that. When we had that sit down the first day, I did make mention that I was going to take a little trip. I was going to be off for a while, and she said just go ahead and send her the dates. That was fine. At the time, she said she was going to send me a contract, and the contract was going to be for me to sign off. I was kind of a little bit, having a question mark there because I'm a 1099, I'm an independent contractor. I've been doing the independent contracting for like a lot of companies for over the past few years. And yes, when you work as an independent contractor, you work today, you get paid the next day, or you work today and I get paid at the end of the week, and that's what I'm used to. So when she said that, oh, I'm gonna sign a contract, nothing was wrong with me signing the contract, because you know, at the end of the day, you don't want it to be a case where you're seeing patients in a practice and you just get up one day and say, okay, then I don't like this practice anymore, and you just leave. It's just unprofessional, you know, because at the end of the day, you need to remember that these patients that you're leaving, they still need persons to take care of them. So you just have to give the practice a little bit of a time to actually find somebody to replace you. You're not going to give them 1 year, you know, or you're not going to give them 6 months, but at least a month or two. That should be adequate timing for the person to actually prepare, you know, another person to get them Medicare certifications up and running. So I was there, and we had a conversation. We discussed, you know, the contract and everything. But she said she was going to send me the contract, which she did. And when I went ahead and read the contract, everything was fine in the contract, because the only thing the contract made reference to was my pay per patient. And it also made mention of if I decided to leave in advance without giving them any notice, you know, then there is going to be a penalty fee of $2,000. I'm like, yeah, $2,000. Who wants to pay up $2,000? I know definitely I don't want to pay $2,000. So definitely, as usual, I'm gonna honor my contractual agreements. I'm gonna give them 30 days. That is just how I normally do my thing, you know, and that is just a professional way. Try not to burn your bridges behind you. So I went ahead and was there seeing patients. When it comes on to the first week, because at that time we never really made mention of, you know, a pay period. I just thought that because I'm an independent contractor with my other company, I get paid per week. I thought it was the same, you know, process. I get paid per week. With all my other contracts that I've been working, I get paid per week, or I get paid every 3 days, or I get paid every other day. When I was working as a registered nurse, and when I started working as a nurse practitioner, it's the same thing. I get paid per week. I get paid at the end of the week for my work that I did. So I thought I was going to be getting paid on that week. So I was there. I didn't see any money coming in. So I was like, okay, then no problem. Probably it's just because it's the first week, you know, there's a little bit of a delay. So I went ahead and reached out to her and be like, hey, I'm just trying to find out what's the issue with pay. She's like, oh, no, we pay the 1st and we pay the 16th of each month. And I'm like, the 1st and the 16th? I'm like, this sounds like a full-time job. Because usually when you're working as a 1099 contractor, you know, or independent contractor, you get paid per work. You get paid at the end of the week, or you get paid at the end of the day. So anyways, I was there. She says, yeah, she pays like the 1st and the 16th of every month. So I'm like, okay, then no problem. You know, this is week 2. All right, let's see how this goes. So I was there, you know, seeing patients. But then I realized all the patients that I was seeing, the patients have been seen were like all the way in Timbuktu. The patients were the furthest patients I've ever seen in all my time. And not to mention that the patients were in a state where all the patients that we're seeing were more of like virtual visits. And so when you're going to see those patients, they're so happy to see you. They have like a long history to talk about. They have so many things that they want to talk to you about. I would have to go through and sit down and go through like tons of medications on these patients, and it was just like time consuming, because like you have patients have medications from 2017 that they're taking from 2017, and I'm like, how is this even possible with somebody coming in, you know, and seeing these patients on a monthly basis? It was just not possible. So anyways, I was there and I was just kind of doing my thing. So I made mention to her and I said, is it the case that when I see these patients, it's gonna be me still caring for these patients like every month? Because I just find it odd that I have to spend so much minutes, you know, going through just medication reconciliations on these patients, only to find out the next month that I won't be seeing these patients. Like, that is just gonna be devastating for me. because I'm hoping that I'm building a rapport at that time. And she's like, oh, I can't guarantee, but they try to ensure that, you know. But when I look at it, every single time I go to see a patient, it's always a patient that has never had a visit with a nurse practitioner. And I'm like, no, I just feel like I'm being used right now. I just feel like I am being used right now to see these patients in person because, you know, nobody has been seeing them. So I went ahead to still see the patients and everything. No complaints, you know, doing my thing, getting my pay. At least that's what I thought, was getting my pay. So I went ahead and was there. Everything was going fine, you know. When I did my admissions, they make corrections, they let me know what's happening, you know, if there's anything. That the feedback was always good, you know. So I really enjoyed the fact that they were able to provide me with feedback. The home health team was very good with, you know, sending back information regarding certain things that, you know, they need adjusted and whatever it is. So I was there, and no, it's the second time that I'm supposed to be getting paid. So my bank account is set up in such a way that I'm able to see pending transactions. So anything that is pending on my account, I'm able to see it. And so I realized that when I look at my account, I wasn't able to see anything. And so I was like, okay, then this is just weird. So I never really paid much attention. The day came when I was supposed to get paid, no money. The day passed, no money. 12 o'clock passed, no money. So I'm like, oh, it seems like I'm working for free because there is no money. There is no money. So anyways, I decided that I was going to reach out to her on day 3 or I think day 4 and ask her what's happening. So I sent a message to her because I tried calling her. She didn't answer. A text message to her. She didn't respond. She responded later on in the evening by sending me a Zelle. Yes, she sent me a Zelle. She sent me my pay via Zelle. And then she's like, I'm so sorry about the delay, but there was a little bit of an hiccup with the bank. I'm like, okay, hiccup. This is just weird because if I have a hiccup, I'm gonna get water and drink it at the same time and fix the problem. So I'm just assuming that if you have a hiccup with the bank, you're going to call the 1 and 2 clients that you have as your employees and let them know that this is going on. But no, you wait 1, 2, 3, 4 days. When I decide to find out where is my money, then you're gonna tell me that there is a hiccup, there is a problem with the bank, they never dispense it or whatever the issue is. So anyways, I was there and I just thought that it was just strange. I, you know, put another question mark beside that. So at that time, I was already having my plans to go on my little business. And so I, you know, didn't really say anything else. She wanted to talk to me and I was just not able to talk with her at that time. So she said, whenever I get back, I should, you know, reach out to her. So I said, okay, then no problem. So I recently got back from my little trip and it's no time for me to actually get paid again. So, you know, me now looking in my bank account to see if there's anything pending. I'm looking to see if there's anything pending. And when I look, there is nothing pending. And this is for work that has been done 3 weeks ago.